simple, but it becomes the kind of discontent. Everything is this sort of wave of the waves and the discontent and the changes that are happening, particularly to Gary. I always link that with Gary, that theme.
Hey, Gary, what about Vicky?
What?
Yeah, go on, spill, mate.
She's scary, isn't she?
Yeah, she looks like she's begging for it.
Oh, mate, she fucking screams like she's been stabbed. She goes off like a landmine and she's wet like the Pacific, and after we root, she runs off and gets me a Chico roll, which she feasts me by hand. Happy? They're a bunch of dickheads. I'm going back out.
The music that you hear in Puberty Blues, we had it before we even started shooting. I'd worked with Stephen on a previous film, Beaconsfield, and at the end of that, towards the end of Beaconsfield, we knew that we were going to have, we're going to be doing Puberty Blues. So we just started talking about it, and Stephen just started generating music.
It was really fantastic to imagine the spirit of a show and kind of commune about the spirit of a show before any of the other formalities of show making came into it.
Stephen sent through like a whole bunch of ideas, and there was one thing in particular which we call sea jazz, or the sea drone.
Yeah, just a drone bell thing. Which
not only, like, it just hit the nail so on the head about what I felt the show should sound like. It's all through the show now. Like, it's the final scene when at one when Gary goes out into the water. I wanted to sound like the sound of hormones.
Something
floating through the blood or something, or synapses connecting, like, for the first time in a young brain or something.
When we talked about, like, what could we do that was going to be 70s referential, and pretty early on there was listening to Eno, and then I got into all the German stuff, Cluster and stuff, but we did enjoy the Mellotron. The Mellotron came up.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly because it's an instrument that seems to be sort of timeless. Like, it's used today, it was used back then. There's something very, I don't know, it's one of those sounds that when you hear it, it just kind of reminds you of being a child, or it's the sound of memory.
Weird thing for a film composer is you write a piece of music and you usually attach it to a sort of moment, and that's used in F1, with Gary down at the rocks. But then it's used, because the directors and the editors have the music, they cut it into other scenes in ways that I would never have predicted. The end of episode 2, it's used in the last sort of 20 seconds in a way that I would never have thought to have used it for. And then the other thing that's really unusual about the score for me, anyway, is how many marimbas there are in it. It sort of works as a strange irony of knowing these kids are going to start doing things that are so, adult, and you accompany with music that's so naive. It seems to work it also seems to reflect what the parents wish to think of their children, that they're still trying to infantilise them and keep them young.
Yeah.
Sorry about yesterday.
Good.
City girls got nightlights in their eyes, who ask them questions and get told no lies.
I guess the other thing that's different in this show, maybe compared to other shows, is the way that we've used source music. We kind of made a rule, I'm pretty sure we stick to
pretty much, yeah,
all the way through it, where you only hear music if it's coming from a stereo or a car or a radio, and even if you cut to it and it's playing 100%, you'll quickly realise that it's there because someone in the show is actually listening to it.
The source helps you stay in the period rather than, if you use it like a montage thing, then you're kind of removing yourself from the period and being nostalgic about it or something. We didn't want to do any of that. We just wanted to be in it.
I guess the most beautiful thing about having music before you start shooting is that I was able to prepare for scenes and shoot scenes and drive to and from Cronulla every day listening to this music. So it was sort of, I guess, felt like it was part of the show, even though the show didn't exist yet.
You managed to do that entire interview and not use the word organic, which I was just about to say. It became organic to the thing.
And now you've just said it.
Oh, it's just for humour. It's fine. I'm allowed to do that.